Hello there. Hope you're doing good today, Kate. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a French press. I'm going to talk a little bit about ratios. I'm going to walk you through the process. Right now I've got my coffee, I've got my water boiling, so let's just jump into it. So I've got everything I need to make good coffee, but how are we going to do that? So I've got, good freshly ground coffee here in my French press. I've got water boiling on the kettle, and right now I have two paths that I may forge for myself, or rather three, I guess. I can make good coffee, I can make kind of okay coffee, I can make really, really bad coffee. And what really is going to make the difference in our coffee making process is a little thing known as ratios. You might have heard of ratios in cooking, in math. If you're making a simple syrup for a cocktail, you might have like a ratio of one part sugar, 2 parts water. When it comes to coffee, a lot of the time the ratios will be anywhere between 1 to 15 to 1 to 18. Today we're going to be using a 1 to 16. So what that basically means is we're going to have 1 gram of coffee, right, for every 16 grams of water, or milliliters of water. It's the same. And so it really, really helps to have a good kitchen scale here because it's going to help you get the most accurate measurements. But you can also use cups. You can kind of calculate it with like, oh, there are 8 ounces in a cup. How many milliliters are in a cup? You can calculate it that way, but we're really wanting to make sure that we don't have too much coffee. So you might think of it being too strong. If the coffee is too strong, what we basically are talking about there is that it's over extracted. So extraction, I won't get into all the details because it's a very complicated process, but so think about having too much coffee in your coffee, right? You have too much extract, basically. You're extracting too much of the flavor because there's not enough water. So the solubles are going to be much more concentrated in the water if you do like an espresso ratio, which is like a 1 to 2, so like 18 grams of coffee for every 36 liquid grams of espresso. And so 1 to 16 is a good place to start for a French press. It's what James Hoffmann uses. So now that we know a little bit about ratios, let's jump into the process. So right now, I've got my water in the kettle, I've got my coffee grounds in here, and what we're basically going to do, first we're going to give it just a little bit of a bloom. So we're just going to pour like 50 grams. We're going to wait like 20-ish seconds, give it a nice swirl. We're really wanting to like really bring out all the best flavors. We want to make sure all the coffee is properly saturated. Sorry to hear all this stuff in the background. But after that, we're going to, after like, let's say like 30 seconds or so, we're going to pour the rest of the coffee in. And because I have about 17.5 grams, so 1 to 16 ratio is something like 280, something like that. So I'm gonna pour the rest in now, just really making sure we saturate, and we'll be stirring later. So if your kettle doesn't allow like very good saturation like this, it's okay. We're gonna fix it later. So we're getting up there to 280, and this is about a cup of coffee. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna wait 5 minutes, and we'll be right back to do some more stuff as our coffee is extracting. Okay, welcome back. It has been about 5 minutes since we poured the last bit of our coffee. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna give it a nice stir. We didn't do this before, and now we are. We're just gonna get right down into the bottom, and if your French press is glass, you're gonna wanna be a little careful because you don't want to certainly break the glass because it's a little hot. Mine is plastic, so it's not that big of a deal. And then what we're gonna do now is something a little strange, but we're going to kind of take a couple spoons. You can use one, it's easier with two. And we're gonna just kind of scrape the foam off the top here. And this is gonna really break up that top layer and allow everything to settle nice and good down at the bottom. So now you've saturated all the grounds. And mine didn't have a whole lot because To be honest, I didn't use the freshest coffee today, but and now what we're going to do, you'd think, oh great, we're all done, time to drink. Well, it's still a little too hot to drink, right? And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna let those flavors saturate for even longer. We're gonna wait another 5 minutes. It has been about 5 minutes, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take the lid that came with your French press. Looks like this, has a little stem on top. We're gonna put it in here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna depress the stem here, right? And a lot of French press recipes will tell you to go down all the way. I'm not gonna do that. You're just going to go down just there, just after the liquid passes the base of the stem. So what this is going to do is that, we've had a lot of grounds settling down here for a while. We don't want to disturb those because we don't want these in our coffee. So this is going to give you kind of a smoother cup of coffee in the end of things. So now let's go ahead and pour some coffee. You're going to want to make sure, of course, that the spout is facing forward. Hold that on there and just pour. The screen will protect any grounds from coming your way, so you should be left with a nice, clean cup of coffee. Shouldn't be too gritty. If it is, then come to me for troubleshooting. But voila, we've got coffee. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.